There we go.
There it
There we
is.
go.
There it
So
is. I
welcome. I
wasn't
forgot
saying it
to.
yet. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome. I forgot to push record. So we're going to do the announcements in a little while. I'm going to recap the advice that everybody just got, and then we're going to answer some questions. Um, the real goal to this competition is the feedback that you get along the way. A good story is super clear, concise, has a very specific singular point and a lesson and an action step, and practice, practice, practice is the key to success. And something magical, if you're working towards 100 times that you do a story, something magical happens along the line, possibly at time 56, that it becomes something that you're feeling in your heart instead of just in your head. That's the recap. Amanda had a great question in the chat, saying, what do you put in that first video? Excellent question. Your 5-minute story. I don't need anything other than the 5-minute story. And again, 5 minutes is the limit. It could be a little less. And I saw in your note, Kathy, where you're tracking the times that you did the story, is that you had aimed for I don't know what it was, 4:29 or something, like a shorter time, not 5 minutes. Because if you're looking at that clock counting down, it is very hard to not be like, oh.
Okay, so David had asked a question, is there a visible timer to aid in staying within the time? Yes, there is, but I got to admit, I did not look at it. I could not, because then I was focused on the numbers and kind of comprehending, like, what does that number mean to me? I just built my story in a way that I knew I was well under the 5 minutes. I was around the 4:20 mark. I think I came out at maybe 4:32. I just felt that. At the very end, I did glance up and I'm like, yeah, we're within time. Goal achieved. And that was all I looked at. It was at the very, very end. So there is a timer, but it is distracting. You have to be performing. You have to be ready to do your story, and you're in the time zone.
Yep.
And that's where that practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the practice comes in, because when you practice it 100 times or more, you know, without even looking at the clock, if you've gone over or if you're under. Yeah. And I did it a little differently. So my first video submission, so here's the beauty, because it's a video, right? So I just kept doing it over and over and over again until I finally got it within the 5-minute mark, because I was doing the first video was, I think, like a second shy of 5 minutes. But that's the beauty of the first video. But do it the best you can, because you're only going to improve from there. So don't just submit your 5-minute video. Do it the best you can, because that's the feedback you're going to be building on.
Yeah. It does have to be a single shot. It can't be edited. So it's 5 minutes start to end. I don't start counting until you say your first word, and we stop at your last word. So, you're reaching up to turn off the camera, doesn't count.
Yeah.
Amanda, did that answer your question well enough? All right, perfect.
Amanda asked another question. Is this competition against speakers in Wisconsin or speakers across the US? Well, it's kind of both, but in January, it's just the Wisconsin chapter. But I can't say that there's speakers in Wisconsin, because Nora lives in Colorado, but comes to Wisconsin for the event. You just got to be here.
But she's a member.
But she's a member of our chapter. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
And the part where we compete. Oh, go ahead, Elis.
No, I was just going to say, you do need to be a member of the chapter, any level. So Academy members and professional members and established members are eligible to compete. Our Hall of Fame speakers and our $1 Million Roundtable speakers are not allowed to compete in this competition. They are good enough already. And then our executive board is not allowed to compete.
Yep. And you do compete once you take the championship of our chapter, you're now competing against other chapters in the regional level. So you do compete, and then of course at the national level with others outside of our chapter.
That's right. I left that out. Thank you, Paul.
Tara says, I find it hard to act out in an empty room, tips on body language for that. So for your first video and your second video submission, here's what I do, Tara, because I'm like you. So you can put pictures of people around your laptop. If I'm talking to, let's say the story requires me to talk to someone in the distance, I'll put a picture of them on the wall behind me so that I actually am looking over there. When I practice in my living room, I have been known to line up stuffed animals so I have eyes looking at me. I'm not kidding. Like on the couch, pull out all the kids' stuffed animals, and there's eyeballs. Kathy did it in front of her dogs, right? So it's just whatever you can do to create that energy and just imagine that there's a group in front of you helps me too.
Yeah, and there are people who have gathered people to, especially for that second video that's going to go to the preliminary judges, that like gathered an audience and then film themselves doing it for an audience, because it does make a difference. That's why we have an in-person final. And then as Paula said, the chapter champion goes on to compete in the regional competitions, and that's a video. So in between the time of our chapter championship and the submission of the regional, there's a lot of feedback, a lot of work that happens on that story. And then in April, we will have another event that is a showcase for our established members. But our last story standing chapter champion does the story on the stage and gets to film it in front of a live audience, because it's a big difference. Your performance level is just different when you have people listening. The other way you could do it is to do what we did today. Chris Kalender, our president-elect, did his keynote for some of us. He could have had us turn all our cameras off and just recorded himself, although Zoom will just record your speaker view. So that is a way that you could get an audience as well.
Yeah, David, or somebody, it's flowing fast. Somebody had talked about just how do you record, and you can do it on your phone. You can do it on Zoom. You can do it on a professional camera. I did it on my phone for that initial video.
For those first two videos, it does not matter. You're not being judged on the quality of your video. We do believe it helps for that regional competition to have really good video, which is why we do it, our chapter championship, the way we do. And because there's a first submission for the regional competition and the second video that goes in. So that's why we do it the way we do.
Nicole is asking if you can film it live if you're telling this story in the next few weeks. What do you say to that, Elis?
For your first one? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And listen, that portal is going to open well before the November 15th deadline to submit it. If you submit it early, I will watch it and give you feedback. It just gives you more time to prepare that second video. So, yeah.
So if we have missed your question, please repost it.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's going up and down.
Or just turn on your microphone and ask it.
The submission fee for this year, $99.
$99. Yep.
So while you're reviewing, just a little extra thought here. One thing I learned through this whole process is I worked with Kelly Swanson. She is a renowned storytelling expert. She was the coach that was assigned to me before my regional video was recorded. And she really talked to me a lot about creating a story arc within this 5-minute story. And I did. But then I saw the winners, the other winners, the regional winners, and then the actual regional winners and the ones on stage and all that. And they had a really steep arc. And the way I best understood the story arc was in the beginning, you kind of tell the end of your story, and then you back up and tell the backstory, and then at the end you bring it back around and tell the full story. So, for one of the people, they said something like, I don't know, something about her grandma was, had Alzheimer's, and then she backed up. She's like, well, here's the real story. And then at the end, it all came around. So you see that arc that's happening in this 5-minute story. Do some research on story arcs and make sure when you write your story, you have some kind of arc, because that's part of the crafting, especially when you get to regionals and nationals. That's part of that crafting that the judges are looking for.
Yeah, fortunately, we have a program coming up on November 12th in Madison about storytelling. So that is something I would encourage everybody to attend. And there's all kinds of good information about how to tell a story. Don't get too in the woods. Do go to the last story standing. It'll be linked on our page. But watching videos of the national champions, and I saw it in the chat, but yes, the finalists. So it goes our video number 1 feedback, video number 2 top 8, our chapter champion, regional. They go to regionals. There are 3 regional champions who go, 3 or 4. I think there's only 3.
Three.
And those compete on the main stage at our national conference called Influence in Austin, Texas this year.
July 24th through the 28th.
Yes. So part of that, when you register to compete, you will have all those dates, and you agree that, yes, I will, if I'm the chapter champion, do the regional competition. And if I end up to be the regional champion, I will go to Influence. So if those dates don't work, it's certainly possible for you to still compete, but maybe bow out before the preliminary judging, so that somebody else who could make it can.
So Kelly's asking, can you post a link to the regional and national finalist videos? If you go out to nsaspeakers.org and go to the last story standing page, at least they used to have them all listed. All of the chapter winners were listed. And then the 3 regionals, I don't know if they pulled them out, but that's where all of the regional or all of the chapter videos are listed. I know I have my video on my website. I'll just post it right there. That was my January winning video. Paul, I don't know if you have your video anywhere, but I
don't have the link handy.
You what?
I don't have the link handy, but I can find it.
But
Amanda's question, Amanda was asking when the dates are for the different contests. So just to be clear, the regional contest is a video submission. So you're not like on a stage. And we, as Eliz said, we shoot that video at the Breaking Through Live event. The chapter champion has time on the stage to get that professional video to submit. There is a submission deadline, but all you need to worry about is if you can do the Breaking Through Live. And Eliz, do you know what that date is?
I don't. I'm working on that.
Okay.
But all of those dates will be on the Last Story Standing page for our chapter, which will go up hopefully next week. And but I do need to get the regional solidified, or the Breaking Through Live date solidified, so I can get that on the calendar. But we'll also have all of those videos linked, and my plan is to have Kathy and Paula's videos of their chapter champion winning videos on the site as well. So
Bill is asking if we can use props or PowerPoint. No.
That is an excellent question. So
it's just you telling the story.
Right. So you are not allowed to use a prop, PowerPoint. You may not be in costume. Now, if you want to dress in the theme of your story, probably okay, but you can't dress up as a character. And particularly for the second video, like I don't care what you wear in the first video. In the second video, a professional look is a good idea because this is going to your preliminary judges who don't know you. And so impressions count. Don't get carried away, but just, professional. You may sing, but that can't be a big part of the story. So Amber Sweener sang, I think both years she has sung as part of her thing, but it's like 2 lines of a song. It's not a long time. We also, I think, Jim also sang as part of his submission last year. So as long as it's just a couple of lines, that's fine. That's just fine. The national champion last year actually spoke in verse for part of her program, which is really interesting. That is, it was very effective, but also kind of different. And kind of different is helpful in many ways. So you want to, last year we had 20 people apply, right? If everybody is doing exactly the same thing, now you're judged all against doing exactly the same thing. But if you're a little bit different, if you do something that stands out, that helps. It definitely helps. There was something else I was going to say, and now it's blown out of my head.
While you're thinking about that, going back to the chapter videos that are posted, and when National posts the chapter champion videos, if you're competing, my suggestion that you might want to consider is don't watch them. Focus on you and focus on your story, because it
Yes.
can get a little overwhelming, maybe even intimidating. It can mess with your head. So my suggestion is don't even look at it. Just
I'll second that.
you do you, focus on you, because you're not competing against anyone else. That's the philosophy I always take. I'm competing against the last time I did the story and how did I improve it. And if you take that approach and not worry about what other people are doing, I think you'll have a better success rate.
Yes,
Comparison
absolutely
is
right.
the thief of joy. And wow, I can start comparing myself at the wrong time. So absolutely, I'll second, third, fourth that one.
Yeah. I remembered the 2 things I wanted to say. The first one is those dates for the regional deadline, and those are the things have not been announced yet by the national organization. We wanted to give you as much time to prepare as possible. I know kind of when that regional submission is going to be due and when the final submission is due. So our events are spaced well before both deadlines. So you'll be good.
Liz, can you talk to the fee for the regional contest and the national
Oh, right.
contest? Should you advance?
Right. So there is a fee for our chapter champion to compete in the regional. It's $150, or at least it was last year. It may be more. That is something that the chapter covers. So you don't have to, if you win, you do not have to worry about paying that fee. That's part of your winnings as chapter champion. You do have to pay your own way to go to influence. that the chapter is not going to cover, but your performance at Breaking Through Live, everybody else pays for stage time. You do not. If you will get that raw video from the Breaking Through Live event, if you want Dan to edit it for you, that's just fine. That just costs a little bit more.
Hey, Liz.
The edited video
yes.
is not what you submit. You cannot submit any edits.
No. It has to be one and done.
So last year I asked the question for influence and said, if somebody wins regionals and goes forward, will they get a 1-day pass to go to influence if they're not
Yeah.
already going? And they had said yes, only the 1 day though.
Okay.
So I have not asked that question of national this year, but that was the answer I was provided with last year.
Yeah, we'll go to bat for you. Um, attending influence is a very good thing to do. But if that's a difficult thing to manage financially, we'll just have a
You're
candid
so
conversation
cute.
about it, and we'll figure out a way to make that work. Because if we have a national or a regional champion out of this chapter, we're sure that champion's on the stage.
Mhm.
All right, let me run through those dates and things again. Hold on. Are we here? Yes. Hold on. All right. Here are our important things to know about Last Story Standing for 2026. There you go. Our important dates. Your first video is due November 15th. We will have a Last Story Standing page on our website, wisconsininspeakers.com, and then there will be an event to enter the Last Story Standing. That is how you'll enter. You'll go in, register, pay, and then you'll get a link to submit your 5-minute story on video, can't be edited. Then after you submit that, I get to watch all of them. I give everybody feedback. You have that time to work on that story and improve that story before the next video is submitted. So everybody makes it to round 2. Everybody gets feedback. Round 2 happens. Video number 2 is due December 1st. That should be the best you can do that story. Again, you want to try to give yourself this, as I said, this is not a good video, this small amount of space. So you want to back up, show me waist up, or at least, a 3/4 shot, so that I can see you moving in space and emoting and using your hands and facial gestures and all of the space that you have, so that we know that you are capable of doing all of that. Then we have preliminary judges who are from outside of our chapter, so it's fair. There's nobody knows nobody. And the finalists, 8 finalists, are revealed on December 23rd, or at least by December 23rd. Depends on how many people we have to get through. Last year there was plenty. It took us. And then the finals are in person on January 23rd. That is at the most beautiful Madison Youth Arts Center, the Starlight Stage. All of the participants in the competition, whether or not you're a finalist or not, you will get to be on this stage. We hire a professional videographer and a professional photographer for the event. Our finalists receive raw video of usually 4 or more camera shots or feeds for their event. And then you can pay to have that edited if you would like, and photography as well. Our finalists get to do their 5-minute story. Yes, there is a clock that will count down. And again, between that second submission, everybody gets feedback, but our finalists get a lot more feedback and work in honing that story before the finals. Every finalist gets feedback from the judges and from me, and of course our chapter champion, who is crowned that night, also gets a lot of feedback after that in the process of making the regional submission. Also, I don't know if you can tell in this picture, but there are streamers coming down. That is the benefit of being a non-finalist, is that you get to fire off the streamers. So that does make it fun. And we have figured out how to do that in ways that doesn't make the production staff at My Arts angry. We're good. We will continue that tradition. So the criteria is a 5-minute story. It can't be a 5-minute and 1 second story. It has to be under 5 minutes. It has to have an arc, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it will be judged in 3 categories. The first category is delivery. This one is pretty easy to understand. We're going to be looking for eye contact, vocal tone, whether the pitch or the meter of your voice changes as you're telling the story. Do you get softer? Do you get louder? Those sort of things to add that vocal variety to the story. And then body language, which is facial expression and using your body in space and gestures and all of that. The next one is purpose. Is that story actually applicable to the audience? Did you make it about them at some point? Is there a clear lesson to the story? And is there a point that people could repeat? Like, what was the point of the story? Oh, it was this. And do you ask them to do something with that information? Is there an action step? There should be all of those things. And then impact. How well did the story entertain, educate, and motivate? So those are the things that the judges are looking for. Each one of those 3 things, like entertain, educate, motivate, under each of those 3 categories is worth 10 points. Those all get added up. And that's how we determine who the winner is, who are the finalists going to be, that sort of thing. And I will tell you that it was tight and difficult last year. The top 3 were all very, very close. So there's discussion that happens in the judges' room. I allowed 15 minutes for it. I think we used close to a half hour because it was very, very difficult.
It was
to make those decisions. The cost is $99 this year, and we feel that's a very good value. You get a lot for that, and the entry portal will open at least by October 27th. And if you want to submit your video, if you're good and you've got it, submit your video. I will watch them right away and start the feedback process. Just need to get more time to get ready for the second video. So that's the process. We have it on the recording. Who's that? Any final questions? Because yeah, Paula.
I don't have questions, but I have 2 things to add. Kathy mentioned that she worked with Kelly Swanson. So just
Yes.
to clarify, when you are the chapter champion, you get assigned a coach for the regional contest. So they will see the video that you did that won you the chapter championship, and they will give you feedback that will help you hone and redo this video to submit for the regional contest. And that also is huge gold. And the best sparkles on top of all of that is, and anyone that's competed, and there's several here that have, one of the things that was just so cool was the camaraderie and the excitement and just the joy for each other. I mean, it was palatable. Just like such a great experience. Everyone was excited for everyone else. Like
Yeah.
It got to the point where you didn't even care if you won. You were just excited and who's going to get it, kind of a thing, because everybody was so invested in each other. And it was just a fabulous, fabulous experience.
It is so much fun to be backstage.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody's a little bit nervous, but just the support and the camaraderie, it's a magical place back there.
And I will tell you, as a judge, it is really, really tough.
Well,
it's just hard.
Yeah, it is a hard thing. But all the judges do also have me to ask questions of, and it really is such a good program.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any, oh, that's sweet, Nora.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Now, I told her after, Kathy, I don't know if I ever told you this. After when they were like, oh, it was really tight, I was like, I could have saved him 15 minutes. Like, Kathy's story is a better story to move forward. It was so freaking good. It was so freaking good. And I hit all of the judging criteria. It was, yeah. So we could have saved them 15 minutes that way. But it was perfectly selected. It was perfectly selected.
If you're not getting the reference, Nora was number 2.
Thanks, Nora.
I'm number 2. I'm number 2.
And that's the thing too, is when you are backstage, you can go sit in the audience and you can watch everybody's, except when it gets to be 1 to 2 people before you, because then you got to go get mic'd up and get ready. So you don't see everybody's. And I think, Nora, you were like right before me. So I didn't see yours until the videos came out. And then I watched it and I'm like, oh shoot,
adorable.
I'm so glad I didn't see it in person.
A really lovely note. Yeah, I mean, I watched yours from the video in the back room, and you remember what my face looked like when I came around the corner and I saw you, and I was like, holy shit, you slayed that. Like, slayed it. So yeah.
Yeah. There is a television in the green room. This theater is just beautiful. So there's a green room backstage, and with 4 dressing rooms, and yeah, it's just lovely. So you can watch other people. We also had a monitor on just off stage, backstage, and we had to listen to the to the people talking and watch them on the monitor, but that was very nice to be able to watch backstage. So, and
Yeah.
and Roger did an excellent job emceeing.
Roger does do an excellent job emceeing, and Liz does a phenomenal job of organizing and all the stuff you don't see behind the scenes, the hours, the sweat, the tears, everything that goes beyond it.
Well, now that we've done it, it should be a little easier to hand parts of that off now that we kind of have a framework for how we're going to do it.
I would like to, before you wrap up, I just want to once again call out the fact that I am aware of what at least 4 other chapters are doing for this, and none of them come close, right? Like, if the Wisconsin, those of you who might not know this, that NSA Wisconsin, this competition setup, the fact that there's a review of your video, that you get to resubmit the video, that there's a real stage, that there's a real videographer and photographer, and all of that is so far beyond what most NSA chapters do, that this event alone makes NSA Wisconsin a premium chapter in my book. So
all the more reason, if you're not a member, this is why you join this chapter.
Right,
Because it's top.
exactly. Right.
yeah.
It's top.
Oh my God, I would hope. I mean, like, seriously, I fly in for stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Tara. Yes, we do. Thank you for telling everybody to join. All right, we have reached the end of our time together. I hope I get to see you on November 12th at our next event in Madison. I think that is open now for registration.
Yep,
is
it is.
So too.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So be there or be square. It's going to be a really great event. Plus, you get to hang out with us, which, we're pretty great.
And it's in a funeral home.
I gotta say, whoever is sourcing spaces has really gone outside the box this year. I mean,
yeah.
And we're not just talking about any box. We're talking casket box.
we're talking casket box. They're thinking outside the cedar
Legacy
box.
Center.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful event space.
Yes.
But yes, we are being good stewards of member dollars and working to have low cost and sometimes free space for our meetings. So
Well, and we have
There you
Speaker Lab following the November meeting, so
Yes.
great opportunity to practice and hone your story.
yes.
before it.
And I don't know how our presenter is going to work, but I think it's never a bad idea to have a 5-minute story ready to have feedback on from our presenter if that is how it's going to go. So, yeah, I know. It doesn't hurt to have something prepared.
Probably figure out what I'm going to tell a story about this year.
It's a good time now to start thinking about it. It
I'm really
is.
attached to last year's story, so now I gotta go.
Well,
Yeah,
That's your story again.
don't they all
you are allowed to do the same story year after year. If you're not the chapter champion.
Be like, y'all are gonna hear this story until you move me on. That's hysterical.
Challenge.
And honestly, it's a great opportunity to take what you did with your story last year and keep working and building on it this year. Like I said, John Never did it, and from contest to contest, it was very improved. Not that it wasn't great to begin with, but that's what the contests do, is it just really amplifies your improvement.
Yeah, takes advanced planning to a whole new level. That's funny. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Appreciate you all. Hope to see you very soon. And on the stage is one of y'all.
Thank you.
Could be chapter champion this year.
Woohoo!
Woo.